So before we get into this video, I want to say that there will be resources linked down below to support the Black Lives Matter movement. There will be petitions to sign, places to donate, and other ways to educate yourself. And I will also link down below some of my favorite Black YouTubers who you probably already watch because they're amazing, but like if you don't already watch them, then they will be down below for you to check out. Okay, yeah, let's get into this video. Hi, my name is Bianca and welcome to my channel. I'm doing this quick little video. I'm probably sweaty because it's hot outside. But anyway, what I wanted to talk about in this video is the problem with Harry Potter. So the number one problem with Harry Potter is that it's written by a TERF. Like that's the number one problem, is that it's written by a literal bigot who decided to open her big mouth on Twitter and say some really damaging things that make me very embarrassed to be a mega fan of Harry Potter. But I am not going to be removing my Harry Potter tattoo because bloop, it's cute and no one's really gonna like notice it unless they're also a fan of Harry Potter. So, and I still really like Harry Potter. I credit Harry Potter with the fact that I am currently smart because my literal teacher told me that I was a dumbass and that I was gonna fail the standardized test at the end of the year. And then I read Harry Potter and I got a 100, so anyway, she shouldn't have been so mean to me. It's not my fault that you're angry and pregnant, but whatever. I was literally like 8. Anyway, so Harry Potter holds a very special place in my heart. It means a lot to me. But because of Miss Rowling, Miss Dumbass TERF, I was thinking about some of the biggest problems with Harry Potter. But I'm actually going to be talking about the story and not so much like the crappy things she did. Anyway, the number one problem with Harry Potter, besides the fact that it's written by a TERF, is Albus Severus Potter. Albus Severus Potter. That is the number one problem with Harry Potter, is the fact that the Snape apologist, the Snape forgiveness, Snape does not deserve to be forgiven. That is not, Snape does not. Under no circumstances should Harry have named his child after Snape. There is no way that actual Harry Potter would have named his child after Snape. Snape was a bully. Snape was a, like, equivalent of a Nazi in their world. Like, Snape is part of the reason why his parents are dead, and just because he felt bad about it later and, like, worked against Voldemort does not mean that Harry has to forgive all and has to be like, oh my god, Snape, I love him, I'm naming my child after him. No. No. Severus Snape was a awful human being. He literally, like, his entire reasoning for going over to the good side, the non-Nazi side, was because the woman that he loved was, like, in danger. And that's it. Not human decency, not, I don't want to be a Nazi anymore. I don't want to participate in this genocide anymore. No, it was that the woman that he loved, who he was obsessed with and infatuated with, who did not like him, it did not want him to, like, feel those things for her, was in danger. Because your leader wants to kill a baby. You're literally following a guy who wants to kill a baby. Your leader wants to kill a baby. And you don't think like, oh, maybe he's like not all there, maybe he's like kind of messed up, I don't know, he wants to kill a baby. So Snape from a very young age has a relationship with Lily, and we're like seeing like it's all sweet and innocent, and then Snape as a teenager and a young adult decides that he needs to be a Nazi. And of course Lily doesn't like you, like of course Lily doesn't want to date you because you're a Nazi, and literally like she's the person, the group that you are trying the hardest to oppress because she's Muggle-born. Like, I mean, if you think about this in like real world terms, if this was real, like, no one would expect that we should forgive the Nazi. I don't know, it's weird. But, oh, this is gonna be a very serious video about Harry Potter. If you think that Harry Potter is not that serious because it's not that serious, then don't watch this video and leave a mean comment anyway. So Snape is a literal Nazi, like that he's the equivalent of a Nazi. And she's the group that he is trying to oppress and kill. And you're like, and he's like, why doesn't Lily like me? I'm so sad. Lily likes that bully, James Potter. How could she like that bully, James Potter? He bullies me because I'm a weirdo and a Nazi. He bullies me and she likes my bully. How could she do that? Because he's not a Nazi, maybe? Crazy thought right there. Anyway, so on top of the fact that he only cares about Harry because he cared about Lily and he felt bad about the role that he played in her death and everything. So that's the only reason he like goes to the good side, right? And then on top of that, he bullies Harry Potter for 7 years. He literally bullies this 11-year-old boy because he was mad at his dad. He becomes a teacher and then he bullies students. He terrorizes these students because of like the house that they're in or their association with Harry Potter because he hates Harry. Like how are you gonna tell me that Harry is like, oh yeah, let me forgive him for being a terrible person for absolutely no reason? He literally tries to say bad things about Harry's dad in front of Harry when he is part of the reason why Harry's dad is dead. Like Harry's dad is dead and you're like, even if you have nothing to do with Harry's dad's death, why would you go and try and say all of these horrible things about the orphan's parents? Like let him think about his parents in a nice and positive way. Like, why do you have to go and say these bad things about his father because you were obsessed with the mother and you were a weirdo in school and people bullied you? Like, yeah, James was a bully, but he grew out of it. He didn't become a Nazi. And like, okay, maybe Snape became a Nazi because he was bullied or something, but like, a lot of people are bullied and they do not become Nazis. A lot of people are bullied and they do not go around committing hate crimes. They grow out of it and they grow up and they don't join hate groups that literally commit murder. And like, maybe you're like, oh, and like he's a half-blood too. It's not even like his family raised him to be all racist because like, you know, like, oh, your parents have a big impact. Like most of the racist kids that I knew had racist parents and that's why they were racist. I mean, it's not an excuse. They should unlearn that by the time they grow up. But like, that's why they're racist when they're younger, right? Well, he wasn't racist when he was younger because he really liked Lily, even though she was Muggle born, and then he grows up and becomes a Nazi racist person. Like, no, that's not how this should work. You don't get to like become a racist Nazi person later and then we still forgive you. Like, we should, no, the only reason that I would forgive him for being a racist, evil Nazi person is if he grew up that way and then he unlearned it because he realized like, oh, I've been surrounded by ignorance my entire life and let me unlearn this ignorance like Draco kind of did, like towards the end. Like there's Draco apologists and I'm fine with the Draco apologists because Draco had like a redemption arc. Draco like tried to unlearn what he had spent his entire life being completely immersed in. Snape is literally half-blood. One of his parents was a Muggle. He was raised in part by a Muggle. He was friends with Lily when she was young and he knew that she was completely Muggle-born and she literally had no idea about magic and he was the one explaining it to her. Like, no. So on top of all of this, on top of the fact that he becomes a Nazi racist weirdo later in his life, and then he's regretful, not because of the bad things he did, but just because of Lily. Like, just because he's worried about Lily, he's regretful about his choices. And then he decides to be, and then he decides to be good. Like, that's not how this works. That's not, you don't get to just decide to be good because the girl that you're infatuated with is in danger now. That's still just completely self-serving. Anyway, so then she dies, and I hate the scene in the movie. I don't know how it is in the book, but I hate the scene in the movie where he like runs in and he's like, oh my god, Lily, and he like cradles her dead body while Harry's over in the crib after just being attacked. Like, check on the little kid, check on him. Like, are you kidding me? Lily did not just die and sacrificed herself to save that child for you to go over there and canoodle with her dead body. Check on the kid. And like the fact that he literally had to just run past James to do that, like no. No. No, 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 no. You're a bad person. You're disregarding the death of the person that she loved. Like, you don't even care. You don't love her. Like, I'm sorry, you don't love her. If you don't care about her family or her child, you don't love her. Like, it's just, it's gross. It's gross. It's so gross. And then on top of all of this, on top of his like weird relationship with Lily, his toxicity, how bad of a person he genuinely is, like, if you ignore the fact that he's a Nazi and just think like, oh, he, like, ignore the fact that he's a Nazi, he still spends 7 books bullying little kids. Like, not just Harry, Hermione, Ron. Like, he literally, Hermione gets hit with in the books, Hermione gets hit with like a spell that makes her front teeth grow really big, like past her chin. And Snape is there, and Ron's like, look what they did to Hermione or whatever. And Snape, because in the book she described as having really big front teeth anyway. And Snape literally like looks at her and he's like, I see no difference. They're like past her chin. He goes, I see no difference. This is like a 13-year-old girl or something. And that's what he says to her. And she runs away crying. No, 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 we don't get to just forgive him. Like, no, because he had no reason to act that way. Like, no reason at all. Like, yeah, he's a double agent. We're like, well, he's a double agent, but he had no reason to act like that towards children, because he was bitter and sad about his own life and the fact that Lily didn't love him. So, he's also a huge bully to Ron as well. I can't think of any instances, but I'm pretty sure he calls Ron dumb on like more than one occasion. And he's a huge bully towards Neville. Neville is afraid of him. Neville's fear is Professor Snape. When he stands in front of the Boggart their 3rd year, he is afraid of Professor Snape. That's what the Boggart changes into. That's his #1 fear. He's terrorizing children. And it's not just like, oh, he's a tough teacher, he's a tough grader, that's why these kids are like scared of him. No, these kids are scared of him because he is a bully and he is mean to them. He's mean to 11-year-old children for absolutely no reason. There's never a reason if you are a grown person to be mean to an 11-year-old child or a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old or really any child, because they're children and you're supposed to be an adult. Like, Jeffree Star needs to learn that lesson, but anyway, that's a different topic. But yeah, so he is a terrible person. The idea that he is just completely forgiven because of this thing that he does, which yes, it's a brave thing, it's a heroic thing, it's good. He's still a bad person because he did a lot of terrible things that he never needed to do. Like, they were not necessary for the good of the mission, for the good of the wizarding world. Like, yeah. Like, they were not necessary. Like, yeah, he had to kill Dumbledore. Like, we know he had to kill Dumbledore. I'm not mad that Snape killed Dumbledore. I got some problems with Dumbledore anyway. But I'm not mad that Snape killed Dumbledore. I'm mad that Snape bullied children, that he terrorized Harry for his entire life, that he was infatuated with this woman who had no feelings towards him, and he decided, like, oh, I want to get with her, like, I'm gonna be, like, I don't even know what to say. Like, he's infatuated with this woman who doesn't want anything to do with him because he becomes a Nazi, and he is trying to oppress her. Like, he's a racist, he's a Nazi, he joins a hate group, he joins the KKK, like, that's what it's the equivalent of in their world. But it's the equivalent of, yeah, being in the KKK, of being a Nazi. That's what he is in their, like, world. Okay, there's a lot of other problems with Harry Potter, like the fact that there is absolutely no representation, the fact that, like, Cho Chang's name is Cho Chang, I don't know, I mean, the fact that, like, there's only a couple of, like, minority characters and they're not any of the main characters ever, and, like, yeah. Anyway, that's another problem with Harry Potter. There are a lot of problems with Harry Potter. I still really like Harry Potter. I'm still gonna, like, not, like, defend Harry Potter. I'm not, like, gonna defend J.K. Rowling because gross, like, no. but I'm still gonna enjoy Harry Potter. I still enjoy the movies, I still enjoy the books. I think that they're good and that they generally have a message of don't be a bigot, don't be a racist, like don't commit hate crimes. Like they generally have that very good message of like don't do that shit, which is weird because the author, as we now know, is a bigot. I mean, I'm not saying she commits hate crimes, but she's definitely a bigot. She's a TERF. Also, the fact that she decided that Dumbledore needed to be gay after the books had already been released for a while and there was no real indication that Dumbledore was gay. I don't know. And if there's no actual like love story between Dumbledore and Grindelwald in the Fantastic Beasts series, because she literally says that Dumbledore and Grindelwald were in love, so if I don't see a love story between them, which I probably won't because Grindelwald's already evil, but I need to see some flashbacks to that gay love story, because otherwise, once again, you have 5 movies of these Fantastic Beasts, and once again, you're just like ignoring the fact that you could have put this representation in and that you actually said that this is a canon thing that Dumbledore is gay, and now you're gonna ignore it when you make a movie that is literally about Dumbledore and his ex-boyfriend. It's supposed to be about Dumbledore and his ex-boyfriend. Anyway, so that's my thoughts on problems with Harry Potter. I really like Harry Potter. There are more problems with Harry Potter, again, like I said, but yeah, Albus Severus Potter, I don't think so. No. Harry would not have named his child after Snape. Ginny would not have let him name his child after Snape. Albus Severus Potter, I do not think so. There are so many better father figures. Rubius Hagrid, Sirius Black. Actually, I think one of them is named like Sirius, right? Like James Sirius. Lupin, Remus Lupin. Remus Lupin was a great paternal father figure. He was great. He was better than Sirius in my opinion, because Sirius looked at Harry as James and he's not James. He didn't look at him like as the child that he was. There are other more important people, better people, who were good people their whole lives and who never became Nazis or racists, who he could have named his kid after. And instead, you're telling me, J.K. Rowling, you're telling me that he named it after Snape. He didn't. This was just a warning sign of the kind of person that she actually is, that she was just trying to slip into the books because she wanted this redemption arc for the Nazi racist. She wanted the Nazi racist savior. She wanted KKK member saves the day. Like, no, he's evil, he's a bad person, he's a racist, we're done. And on top of that, he's a bully. Who bullies little kids? Okay. That is it for this tiny little rant about Harry Potter. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to whatever random videos that I'm going to be making. Hopefully I will be making more. I will be trying to make more anyway. And the setup will be cuter because I wanted to make this video like really fast before I like got out of the mood to rant. Because you have to be in like the mood to rant. Okay, anyway, thank you. Like, comment your opinions on Harry Potter or whatever down below, and please subscribe. Bye.
You